Hi everybody, welcome to lecture number 11, Inter-VLAN routing. So we can say Inter-VLAN routing or Inter-VLAN communication. So in this lecture, what we are going to discuss means, we are going to create VLANs and we are going to communicate between the VLANs. Okay, so in the last lecture, lecture number 10, we created VLAN. I think we created up to 3 VLANs and we communicated within the VLAN. Okay, from VLAN 10 to VLAN 10 we communicated, VLAN 20 to 20, 30 to 30 like that. But in this case, that means in this lecture, we are going to discuss how to communicate with different VLANs. Okay, from VLAN 10 to VLAN 20 I want to communicate, from 20 to 30 I want to communicate. Okay, so this is the concept we are going to learn in this particular lecture and we are having 2 labs here. Okay, we are going to do 2 labs. Now, what is Inter-VLAN routing? Okay, you can see the topology diagram. So an example topology diagram is given here. So the first one, this is VLAN 10 and this is the VLAN 20. So there are 2 VLANs available. I am going to use a router here. So in the previous case, that means in VLAN, creating the VLANs, so we have not used any routers. But here we are going to use a router device for communication. So that means from 10 to 20 I want to communicate, means your packet will go to the router, then from the router your packet will be redirected to the 20 VLAN 20 or VLAN 30, so whatever it is. So this is what the concept we are going to learn here. Now layer 2 switches, they cannot forward the traffic between the VLANs without the help of your router. So if you want to communicate between VLANs, so you need a router device. So Inter-VLAN routing is a process of forwarding the network traffic from one VLAN to another VLAN, so using a router. Now, so this concept, it is generally called router on a stick. Okay, we can say as a router on a stick or Inter-VLAN routing. So here the router on a stick approach, it uses different paths to route the VLANs. Then here it is going to use 802.1 trunking port, so that it is going to add the VLAN tags. So this already we discussed in the previous lecture. So 802.1q protocol. So this protocol, trunking protocol, so it is going to add the tags to identify or to distinguish the frames. Okay, in every frame it is going to add a tag. This is for VLAN 10, this is for VLAN 20. So a tag will be added here. Then the next step here, we are going to create something called sub interface. Sub interfaces, okay, are created in the routers. So what is that sub interface means? Fast Ethernet 0 by 0. So that is the interface. So in fast Ethernet 0 by 0, you can have dot 1, fast Ethernet 0 by 0, dot 2, okay, dot 3. So we can have some sub interfaces we can create. Okay, so it is mandatory, it is must, okay, you have to create. So based on the number of VLANs, so if you have 3 VLANs, you have to create 3 sub interface. So if you have 5 VLANs, you have to create 5 sub interfaces. So this is the major point, a very important point as far as the Inter-VLAN routing is concerned. Then each sub interface is configured with the IP address from the VLAN it represents. So every sub interface we have to assign an IP address, we have to configure an IP address. Then VLAN members, so that means a group of VLAN members, so they are going to have this sub interface as their gateway. So whatever the sub interface we are giving here, that means the IP address, okay, for the sub interface, so you have to use this as the gateway for the PCs. In the lab part you can understand this better. Then only one router, okay, router's physical interface is used, so only a single interface will be available, that is router on a stick. So connecting the switch and the router, there will be only a single, okay, link. So that is router on the stick. Now you can see this is an example, layer 2, okay, Inter-VLAN routing, that means router on a stick, and I am going to use only one switch here, a single switch environment. Okay, only a single switch is used here. So now you can see, so this is VLAN 10, okay, VLAN 10. PC 0 and PC 1, okay, it is going to be in VLAN 10, PC 2 and PC 3, it is in the VLAN 20, okay, so VLAN 10 and VLAN 20. So this is a 10 network and this is the 20 network, so 2 different networks I'm going to have, and then I am going to have a router here. Now, for the router fast Ethernet 0 by 0, I am going to create two sub interfaces here, 10.0.0.10 and 20.0.0.10. So 10.0.0.10, this is the gateway for this VLAN, and 20.0.0.10 is going to be the VLAN, it is going to be the gateway for this network. Okay, that means VLAN 20. Then this is going to be our trunk, okay, the trunk port. Then we are going to enable, okay, the protocol, that is the .1q protocol will be enabled in this place. So this is a simple the steps. I am just giving the steps what we are going to do, okay, in this case. Now we can see I am just, okay, giving the steps here. So the first step is you have to create VLAN 10, then create VLAN 20, step number 2. So all these things we are doing in the switch itself. Then assign the ports to VLAN 10, assign the ports to VLAN 20. So up to this step number 4, up to this, okay, we are going to do it only in the switch. Then the next one is create the trunk port in the switch. So this is also we are going to create the trunk port. So in this case, so this is going to be the trunk port. So I am creating the trunk port also, okay, inside the switch. So all the 5 steps, okay, step 1 to 5, we are going to do it only inside the switch. Then the next one I am going to the router. So in the router we are going to create the sub interface. Then we are going to enable the .1q. Then we have to assign, okay, we have to assign the IP address. For every sub interface we have to assign the IP address. Then we have to enable the .1q. So once if you enable the .1q, so automatically the configuration will be over. Then you can ping from VLAN 10 to VLAN 20. So these are all the configuration steps. So these steps, okay, we are going to see in the lab part. Now I am going for one more topology diagram, and before that you can see the commands here. Okay, so these are all the commands. So in the switch, okay, so I am going for the fast Ethernet 0 by 0. So this is VLAN 10. Fast Ethernet 0 by 2, it is VLAN 10. 0 by 3, I am going to move it to VLAN 20, switch port access. 0 by 4, okay, interface, I am moving it to VLAN 20. So 0 by 1, 0 by 2. So these two interfaces will be in VLAN 10. 0 by 3 and 0 by 4. So these two interfaces in VLAN 20. Then I am going for switch mode trunk 0 for 5. 0 by 5, it is going to be the trunk. So all the configurations we are going to do it only in the switches. So these are the configuration. Before that you have to create VLAN 10, VLAN 20. Okay, so these are the commands. Now moving on to the router, you can see the router configuration, the commands. So fast Ethernet 0 by 0.10. So this is the sub interface. So fast Ethernet 0 by 0. So .10. This is for VLAN 10. And I am going to enable the encapsulation. So encapsulation .1q. Okay, and this is for VLAN 10. So 802.1. Okay, this will enable. Okay, if you are enabling 802.1q means it is going to associate one specific VLAN with a sub interface. Okay, so we can configure this .1q, okay, for with the sub interface. For every sub interface you have to do it. Then, and this command has to be entered before the IP address. Okay, before entering the IP address, okay, you have to give this command. Suppose if you enter this command encapsulation .1q, okay, 10 is the VLAN. So if you give this after the IP address means you will get some error. Okay, the error will be available. So using this, okay, so routers, only routers can support this encapsulation .1q. Only the router is supporting, okay, not the switch. So this command will work only in the routers. So these are all the general common points as far as the encapsulation .1q, this command is concerned. So here we are creating two interfaces, sub interfaces, fast Ethernet 0 by 0.10, fast Ethernet 0 by 0.20. So here I am going to enable the encapsulation .1q for VLAN 10. Then I am going to enable the encapsulation for .1q. Okay, .1q encapsulation I am going to enable for VLAN 20, and I am assigning the IP address. So this is the configuration. So once if you do this configuration, automatically you can ping from VLAN 10 to VLAN 20. Okay, so this is single switch environment. Okay, so this is an example using a single switch environment router on a stick. Now the same concept I am going to move. Okay, I am going to take it for multiple switch environment. So here you can see here there are 3 VLANs available. So the first PC0 and PC3, this will be in VLAN 10, then VLAN 20 and VLAN 30, and different switches, that means multiple switches we have, switch 1, switch 2, switch 3. So in this case you have to make the trunk, you have to be very careful in creating the trunk. So switch 1 to switch 0 and switch 0 to router 1, so this is going to be the trunk. And also from switch 2 to switch 0, this is also, you can see the mouse pointer, and this place also going to be the trunk. So in a multiple switch environment, you have to do some extra configuration, some additional configurations you have to do. So this is based on the topology diagram. The topology is scattered here. So based on that we have to do some configuration. So let us go to the lab part. So using packet tracer, I am going to configure both. That means router on a stick for a single switch environment, router on a stick for multiple switch environment. So both the things we are going to see in the packet tracer as a lab part. So thank you very much. Keep watching.